Hi everybody, today on Political Access we've got another hypothetical matchup for you. It's going to be Hakeem Jeffries for the Democrats up against Kevin McCarthy for the Republicans. And this one was suggested to me in the comments, and it's not easy to do. Both of these guys are prominent political figures. McCarthy is the Speaker, Jeffries is Minority Leader in the House. And so far, it seems like Kevin McCarthy has not been the complete disaster a lot of people have expected him to be. However, I still think he would have some problems with the Trump base. I think they're distrustful of him, and I think a lot of voters will just view him as an out-of-touch coastal elite. Now, Hakeem Jeffries, some people have said he's a rising star. Maybe that's true, but I think he would also have some problems with the progressive base. I've heard they are dissatisfied with him. As he's cozied up more to the establishment than they'd like, he did not nearly push as hard as he should have on some of these progressive priorities. So those are the two dynamics at play. I don't think either of these guys are going to be particularly well liked, given the political polarization today. But let's go through these states. We'll start in Alaska. That is going to be over 10 points safe for McCarthy. Hawaii, of course, safe for Jeffries. Back up to the West Coast, Washington, Oregon, California. Again, blue states safe for Jeffries. McCarthy, even though he's from California, he's not going to get that margin down more than a few points over another Republican. Now let's go to Nevada. This would be a competitive swing state. Maybe it's trending slightly toward the right. This is a tough call. It does border where McCarthy is from in California. The proximity could help him by maybe a half a point, and I think this would be close. Eventually, I had to make a decision, and I settled on a tilt for McCarthy. Idaho and Utah safe for McCarthy. Let's go to Arizona. This was a red state up until not that long ago. They're not that much of a fan of Trump Republicans there. They do prefer the establishment. McCarthy, he's trying to bridge that gap. He does come off as more establishment. I think that could be enough to put him over the edge. It would be close, but I have it going to McCarthy by a tilt margin. Montana, Wyoming, safe for McCarthy. Colorado, that'll crack double digits, safe for Jeffries. New Mexico, that'll be mid-single digits, likely for Jeffries. Back up to North Dakota and South Dakota, those are going to be safe for McCarthy. Nebraska at large is going to be safe for McCarthy. The 2nd District, that will be low single digits, leans for Jeffries. Kansas, Oklahoma, safe for McCarthy. Let's go down to Texas. This will be over 5 points, likely for McCarthy. Minnesota, likely for Jeffries. Iowa, likely for McCarthy. Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, safe for McCarthy. Let's cross the Mississippi and do Wisconsin. This is another one where you could make a case either way. I try to consider all the factors and the margins in the significant counties, and eventually I settled on a tilt for McCarthy. Illinois, safe for Jeffries. Michigan, low single digits, probably 2 to 3 points, leans for Jeffries. Indiana, safe for McCarthy. Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama, safe for McCarthy. Let's do Florida. This one I think will be about 4.5 to 5 points, so it's leans for McCarthy. Now let's go one state north to Georgia. Jeffries is probably going to do a little bit better in some of these states. He would get black turnout up a little bit. The suburbs around Atlanta, I think a lot of them have moved on from the Republicans. McCarthy, he could probably get some of them back since he's not as polarizing as Trump, but the turnout in the red counties is not going to be as strong as it would be for Trump, so I have it going to Jeffries by a tilt margin. But again, it would be close. South Carolina, safe for McCarthy. North Carolina, low single digits, 1 to 3 points, leans for McCarthy. Let's go to Ohio. The state is pretty much out of reach for the Democrats at this point, and it's going to be likely for McCarthy. West Virginia, safe for McCarthy. Let's go to Maine at large, and that's going to be likely for Jeffries. The 1st District, safe for Jeffries. The 2nd District, leans for McCarthy. How about New Hampshire? This is a state the Democrats have an easier time to win on a federal level, and this goes to Jeffries by a leans margin. Vermont, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, and Washington, D.C., easy call, safe for Jeffries. Let's do Pennsylvania. That is going to be about 1 to 2 points, leans for Jeffries. And the last state, that's going to be Virginia, and that is going to go likely for Jeffries. So there's your final map. That's 276 for Hakeem Jeffries, 262 for Kevin McCarthy. I think Jeffries would edge it out. McCarthy, he's not completely out of this. He could potentially flip Georgia and win this election, but Hakeem Jeffries, he could also potentially flip Nevada, Arizona, and Wisconsin. But as usual, it comes down to the same 4, 5, or 6 states. I think a lot of things could sway this election. The national environment, if it does favor the Republicans, I think McCarthy could win this. But if it's neutral or at all blue-leaning, then Jeffries, I think, is favored. So that's a big unknown, and it could easily determine the outcome. So with these two individual candidates, a lot of it does come down to the Rust Belt. Maybe McCarthy does better than I'd think. He is trying to toe the line between the Trump base and the establishment. I have him getting Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. They're a little bit bluer. I would think Jeffries would do a little bit better, but you never know. know. Maybe McCarthy can pull something out. I think less people know who Hakeem Jeffries is, so he's going to have to do a little bit more to get his name recognition up. But I also think Kevin McCarthy has more opposition, and Jeffries would have a little bit more energy behind him. He might be a new voice to a new generation, but then again, progressives, I don't think they're really going to be satisfied with him. I'm sure Jeffries will try to speak to them. He'll try to throw him a bone. The establishment will rally around him, but the turnout with both of these bases is going to be questionable. So a lot of it would come down to the suburbs. Trump is not McCarthy. He's not going to get people as animated to come out against him. And also McCarthy would have another year and a half to put together a track record as speaker. Maybe he does satisfy a wider swath of the electorate, and he does better by a couple of points. Maybe he picks the right running mate, and that helps him in a couple of key states. Maybe Jeffries' personality is more charismatic, and that helps him by a couple of points. So there's a lot of different factors that could change the margins or either to flip some of these states. Of course, they would both have to answer for all the key economic and cultural issues. And maybe McCarthy would be tied too closely to Donald Trump. I'm sure that's what would happen to try to scare off voters in the middle. Plus, most of the media would probably be behind Hakeem Jeffries. Those are a few other aspects to consider. This is just what I settled on. Your map will probably look a little different. Let me know in the comments. What do you think about these two going at it? Which states would you change? Let me know down below. And on your way out, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.